All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 85th Annual Membership Meeting of the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Morgan Messer. I'm SVEC's Director of External Affairs and Communication, and I'm going to guide us through our meeting this evening. Tonight's remote meeting is being recorded and is going to be posted online on our website sometime tomorrow. So you can tell all your friends that if they want to check out a recap of this meeting, they can go to our website at svec.coop. If you have questions for the SVEC board or staff at any time during the call tonight, you can press 0 and someone will assist you in taking your question. And we'll answer those questions a little bit later on this evening. Please remember, do not discuss any personal account-related information while you're on the phone. If you do have a personal account-related question, we'll be happy to take down your contact information and give you a call back. Towards the end of the meeting this evening, we're also going to announce the results of this year's director election. If you have not had a chance to meet them yet, I want to recognize your elected board members. Board Chair, Dr. Conrad Helsley from Shenandoah County. Vice Chair, Bill Orndorff from Frederick County, Secretary-Treasurer Jerry Doffelmeyer from Page County, Suzanne Obenshane from Rockingham County, Brent Arbogast from Rockingham County, Steve Burkholder from Rockingham County, Larry Haddishell from Augusta County, Robbie Marchant from the City of Winchester, Brian Plum from Page County, and Todd Van Horn from Frederick County. Also joining us tonight is SVEC's corporate attorneys, Dale Davenport and Hannah Hutman. And finally, I'd like to introduce SVEC's staff participating in the call this evening. President and Chief Executive Officer Greg Rogers, Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Mike Alger, Vice President and Chief Information Officer Wayne Hanna, Vice President of Engineering Jason Birch, Vice President of Operations Tony Dean, and the Director of Finance and Accounting Tom Hanley. I would now like to announce the winners of 12 randomly selected door prizes among our members who returned their proxies to SVEC or registered to attend this meeting. Each door prize is for a $250 bill credit. So here we go. Here are our randomly selected winners. Claude Bailey of Luray, Jerry Cornell of Winchester, Dale and Lisa Bowers of Woodstock, Nancy Gokenauer of Edinburgh, Ralph and Judy Hetzel of Edinburgh, Jean Keller of Mount Jackson, William Miller of Rafine, David Reedy of Mount Crawford, Timothy and Tamara Shoemaker of Harrisonburg, Lloyd Snyder Jr. of Singer's Glen, Christopher Wiley of Cross Junction, and Eddie Woodward of Louvre. So congratulations to you all. Staff is going to follow up with each one of you individually regarding your bill credit, and we thank everyone who's participating in this democratic process this evening. I will now ask Wayne Hanna, SVEC's Chief Information Officer, to provide a moment of reflection as we begin our business meeting.
Let's pray. Lord, during this time where everything around us seems so out of control, we ask that you open our ears to hear your voice. May we listen and have our hearts filled with the peace that only you can provide, a peace that passes all understanding. We are grateful to you for how you've blessed us and provide for us. We're thankful for this beautiful valley that you created and that we're blessed to live and work in, and we are reminded to walk humbly before you. Lord, we lift up those that put their lives on the line every day to defend our freedom and protect and serve us, and we ask a blessing on their families as well. Bless this meeting and all those present here and at home, and give us wisdom as we proceed tonight. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, Wayne. And now, at this time, I'd like to introduce SVEC Board Chair, Dr. Conrad Helsley, to call the meeting to order.
Good evening, and thank you, Morgan. I am Conrad Helsley, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Shenandoah Valley Electric Co-op. Your participation in tonight's meeting is part of the 7 cooperative principles, which Shenandoah Valley Electric Co-op was built upon beginning back in 1936. We are happy to have you with us. Most members of the Board of Directors, as well as a number of the SVEC staff, are gathered this evening at the Cooperative's headquarters in Rockingham County. To help move the meeting along as chair, I'll accept motions and seconds on the usual routine matters from board members because I can see them. Everyone attending by phone can vote on motions by pressing 1 on your phone for yes and pressing 2 for no at the appropriate time. I now call this 85th meeting of the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative to order, and I call on Mayor Jerry Dofflemeyer, our Secretary-Treasurer, to verify the meeting's quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As of June 3rd, 2021, the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative had a membership of 79,966 members. Article 3, Section 4 of the Cooperative's bylaws states that 2.5% of the total number of members present in person or represented by proxy shall constitute a quorum for the annual membership meeting. Also, under state law, members casting ballots online are deemed present. This 2.5% of the membership at the applicable time means 2,000 members need to be present or represented by proxy. As of 4:30 p.m., August 10th, 2021, which was the cutoff for annual meeting registration, the number of members registered or voting online was 493, and the total members represented by proxy were 3,911. As a result, 4,404 members are recognized as attending this meeting, and therefore a quorum exists. Survey and Ballot Systems is the company that has handled the logistics for the meeting, including the meeting notice, proxies, and balloting. The cooperative has in its possession a certificate from that company stating that on June 29th of this year, it mailed the official notice of this 2020 annual members meeting as required by Section 3 of Article 3 of the Cooperative's bylaws.
2021 annual.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's the 2021 annual meeting. Apologize. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mayor Dofflemeyer. I now call for the reading of the full notice of the meeting that was included in the materials mailed to all members as Mayor Dofflemeyer described, or is there a motion to dispense with the reading of the notice? I have a motion and a second from the members of the board who are here with me at the headquarters. Is there any discussion? All members in favor signify by pressing 1 on your phone. All members opposed, press 2. I can't see it, so you have to.
Mr. Chair, we've got, at this point, 24 members on the line who have pressed yes and voted yes for your motion.
Okay. Thank you very much. The motion carries. I now call for the reading and the approval of the minutes of the 2020 annual meeting. A copy of these meetings have been available on your website, including the annual meeting registration page for several weeks. Is there a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented? I have a motion and a second from members of the board who are here at the headquarters with me. Is there any discussion? All members in favor, press 1 on your phone, and those opposed, press 2.
Mr. Chairman, you've got 24 members who have voted for yes and 1 member who voted for no.
Okay. Motion carries. Ms. Messer?
All right, everyone. It's me, Morgan Messer, again. As a reminder, if you have any questions for the SVEC board or staff, Please press 0 at any time during the call this evening and someone will assist you. And remember, don't discuss any account-related information while you're on the phone with us this evening. We're happy to take down your contact information and give you a call back if you have any personal questions. And now back to Board Chair Conrad Helsley for his remarks.
Thank you, Morgan. To all members listening tonight, I'm proud to serve as your chair this year and represent the entire co-op territory in this capacity. It might be easy to forget, especially after a year in which none of us got very much accomplished, but Shenandoah Valley Electric has a very large, diverse service territory for the electric co-op. We serve rural parts of the valley. We serve industries. There are many commercial properties and, of course, residential areas. We serve small towns and the city of Winchester. We're literally all over the map. All of this means we have a large, diverse set of member needs to meet. This is playing out now as we build a middle-mile fiber network to accommodate broadband expansion in certain areas. I'll let President and CEO Greg Rogers speak more to this particular project in a moment. Now take all those diverse needs and throw some real curveballs. Close offices to the public. Send our office employees home to work. Limit field assignments to the emergency work only. These factors change the successful formula of SVEC has used to serve its members since its incorporation in 1936. But SVEC, like the valley we serve, has endured this pandemic. Just think for a second about your life, how your life has been flipped upside down over the last year and a half. How often did you lose power for reasons outside of the ordinary, such as storms or animals making contacts with equipment? Those are normal causes of outages. And how were those outages restored? By a crew heading out in the dead of night or scorching heat like today. They went to work as quickly as possible to restore the electricity for your home. In other words, it was normal. The pandemic didn't stop us from our core mission of providing the safest, most reliable electricity at the most affordable cost. On behalf of the board, I commend employees for the hard work and attention to safety that made this past year as normal as possible for our members. It is my pleasure now to introduce Greg Rogers, our President and CEO.
Thank you, Dr. Helsley. I am Greg Rogers, President and CEO at SVEC. I hope everyone's doing well this evening, and I certainly appreciate you listening in. We are still not back to our ordinary lives, and who knows whether we'll fully return to them, but things have gradually reopened here in the Valley. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the state of affairs. And I'm convinced this good feeling is driven by what I've seen internally here at the cooperative. I cannot thank the employees at SVEC enough for the outstanding work they have done over the past year, continuing to provide top-notch service through the pandemic. We sent our office personnel home to work in March 2020 all the way until July 2021. With the help of our IT department getting the appropriate equipment purchased and set up, our staff transitioned to a remote workforce. Our field personnel, whose jobs require leaving home, were as responsive as ever to outages and other emergency needs as members have come to rightfully expect from their local electric cooperative. There are a lot of positive initiatives happening here at the co-op, and as I get into a few of them, just know they are all possible because of the greatest set of employees a CEO could ask for. Among the good that's worth sharing is our progress on the Middle Mile Fiber Backbone Project, which paves the way for better broadband service in our territory. Several years ago, SVEC determined plans for a fiber network that will connect all our substations and other infrastructure for electric use. In August of 2020, the SVEC Board of Directors voted to explore partnership opportunities where our fiber network could assist with the internet needs in each locality. I want to emphasize the cooperative will act as a middle mile provider and does not intend on being an internet service provider, or ISP for short. An ISP would lease fiber space from SVEC to run to the member's home to provide broadband service. Much progress has been made over the past year. SVEC recently identified contractors who will assist with the make-ready design for the fiber network, as well as obtain the necessary easements from the property owners along the routes. Property owners along the routes will be contacted as the project progresses. This initial phase of fiber construction will occur in parts of Augusta and Page counties before moving on to Frederick, Rockingham, and Shenandoah counties. Rollout of this project will occur in segments over the next 3 years or so. SVC is currently exploring opportunities with internet service providers and will continue to have conversations with localities regarding future partnerships. SVE serves a large, diverse territory with a range of member needs as it pertains to better internet service, which is why being a middle mile provider makes the most financial and logistical sense for our role in helping bridge the digital divide. Available resources at this time allow for the co-op to make the planned fiber investment while maintaining our core service of safe, reliable electricity at the lowest possible cost. Additional information should be coming in the near future, and all updates will be posted on our website at svec.coop/fiber. Earlier this year, our wholesale power provider, Old Dominion Electric Cooperative, announced plans to achieve net zero carbon dioxide emissions by 2050 and an intermediate step to reduce carbon intensity to 50% of 2005 levels by 2030. We fully support ODEC in these efforts. I'm happy to share that SVEC is in the midst of developing our own clean power plan, which will serve as a deliberate thought and action mapping process so our cooperative can attain the right clean energy, most reliable power, and best values for our members. Solar power and electric vehicles dominate conversations when we approach building our cooperative for the future. On the solar front, SVEC's contractor will soon break ground on a community solar project in Shenandoah County, the first in our service territory. Along with our existing renewable energy rider options, community solar opens the door for members who cannot or choose not to have solar panels at the home to still buy into this renewable form of generation. We are excited to broaden the opportunity for solar to our members, and the groundbreaking comes at an appropriate time in our history. This year marks 20 years since we hooked up the first net metering member onto our system. Please stay tuned through our various communication channels for more information about community solar and how you can participate. We are also have exciting projects in the works for electric vehicles. These opportunities are not quite ready for full disclosure, but I can say we are looking at ways to promote EV technology to younger generations and assisting with identifying areas for a more robust charging station network. We hope to have big announcements on a couple of these ideas soon. Members can currently rely on SVEC to provide information on EVs through our website's Choose EV page, where charger finders, a dealer map, and basic facts and figures are available. SVEC believes a diversified energy mix should be used to uphold its mission of providing members with safe, reliable, and affordable electric service. Between our work on community solar and EVs, there are indeed good things happening toward meeting that energy mix mission. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the hard work of our Operation Roundup Committee. This group of 9 co-op members plus 1 SVEC employee have the excellent but difficult task of selecting charitable organizations to hand out grants. It's through the generosity of our members like you rounding up their bills that give this committee a pool of funding to work with. The board of directors also kicks in a corporate contribution. More than $120,000 has been awarded over the last 3 years, including over $33,000 this year. The impact these contributions will make through the Valley will last many more years. Please consider enrolling in Operation Roundup by contacting our office, or if you would like to make a one-time contribution, those are accepted as well. Earlier this year, a gracious member gave $5,000 to Operation Roundup. The member had run out of gas in her car, and though it was an inconvenience for her, it got her thinking about what if someone else out there runs out of an essential need and they couldn't pay for it. She wrote a check for us that day, hoping to help her fellow members with heating assistance and other causes that Operation Roundup supports. If that doesn't make you feel good, I'm not sure what can. There are other major projects ongoing that I could spend plenty of time discussing tonight, but I'll highlight just 2 more in closing my remarks. Virginia's moratorium on utility disconnections will end on August 29th. To avoid disconnection of service, please contact us immediately to set up a payment plan if you are behind on your electric bill. Although there have not been disconnections or late fees imposed for well over a year, members are still responsible for paying the electric bills they incur. SVEC understands many have faced difficult times during this public health crisis, and we will work with members who have a past due balance on their account. And finally, I invite you to join us by phone again on November the 18th for our final town hall event. This one will focus on our rate case that's currently under review by the State Corporation Commission. SVEC must be able to fully and fairly recover the costs related with providing service to its members while maintaining adequate margins to cover planned and unplanned expenses, including storm damage, system upgrades to meet demand, and maintenance to ensure reliability and safety. Current revenues, cash flows, and margins are not adequate to meet those needs in the long term, while also meeting the financial metrics required by the cooperative's lenders. Accordingly, SVEC filed for a rate revision with the State Corporation Commission in March of this year. Again, we invite you to a larger discussion on this particular topic at our November Town Hall. Thank you once again for joining us this evening, and thank you for being an engaged member of your local electric cooperative. I hope you feel as good about the progress we're making as I do. Please stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg. As a reminder, if you have a question for SVEC board or staff, you can press 0 at any time during this phone call this evening, and someone can assist you. Again, please don't discuss any personal account-related information, but we are happy to take down your name and give you a call back on that topic. Now I'm going to turn it over to our attorney, Dale Davenport, for a review of changes to SVEC bylaws.
Thank you, Ms. Messer. There were very few changes to the bylaws since the annual meeting last year. Nothing like the 2 prior years when, in 2019, changes became effective to open the nominating process very wide, and then in the months before the meeting last year, changed the balloting for directors so that members could vote online and by mail. One change that was made this past year deals with what happens if there's a tie in a director election. Voting in the weeks before these annual meetings, either online or by mail-in ballots, means that a second vote can't be taken immediately. The bylaws were changed to let the board or the members choose from 2 alternatives for voting again to break a tie. First, a special meeting could be held simply to vote again. And for the sake of fairness, this probably would entail duplicating all the logistics related to the meeting tonight, except that the only item of business would be to announce the vote results. since balloting, like tonight, would have been done by mail and online before that special meeting. That process, repeating the process we've used this year and last year, would give all members the same opportunity to participate in a second election to fill that particular board seat. That could produce a winner in about 3 months, which is probably longer than most of us would prefer, but the delay would be due to the legal notice requirements for a special meeting and particularly the logistics of voting and the time that's required to vote in these 2 ways without voting in person. But the big downside is not the delay, it's the cost. Figure about $75,000 to have another election and another meeting just to announce the vote to deal with the runoff. That's due to the need for secure handling of the mail and online ballots and also for the printing and particularly the postage to get the word out to 80,000 members for a repeat election. Due to that cost issue, the bylaws is amended, give an alternate method of deciding the election, which would be to freeze the candidate slate and just reballot in conjunction with the next annual meeting. If there was an incumbent running, they would stay in place, but a challenger would hold their spot as a candidate. Nobody else could join the race. If there was no incumbent, the board would just appoint a co-op member to serve during the year until the next annual meeting. But then, too, any candidates for that office would be the only candidates for that office when the reballoting occurred a year later. If that person that the board appointed during that interim was not a candidate already, they wouldn't be a candidate. As between these 2 alternatives, if a special meeting was not called by the members of the board, then this second alternative would apply. So decisions could be made if and when that tie would occur. The only other significant change was to remove the minimum age to be a director of the organization. Due to a federal executive order, for many, many years, there's been a prohibition on having an age limit on an upper age to be a director. But now for borrowers from the federal government that electric utilities that borrow through USDA, as this co-op does, they have decided that a quirk in the law for co-ops means that that minimum has to be taken out. So what had always been 21 years as a minimum is gone by the wayside. In addition to those 2 changes, there were a few typos and formatting glitches that we caught, and they were corrected. But the tie situation and the minimum age requirement were the only 2 items of potential significance. A copy of the bylaws that show these changes have been on the co-op's website during recent days. Dr. Helsley?
Thank you, Mr. Davenport. We recognize that the ratification of bylaws is a topic that may require discussion among members. If you have any questions based on what Mr. Davenport just shared, please press 0 now, and you will have an opportunity to discuss the topic of bylaws specifically live on the air here in a few minutes. All other questions will be answered after we address the bylaws. Although the board has a duty to keep the bylaws up to date, it has been customary for members to ratify the changes from year to year. Do I have a motion as to the changes that the attorney described? I have a motion and a second to ratify those changes. Is there any discussion? We will pause briefly to allow for any members on the phone to finish submitting questions that they may have in relation to the bylaws. Is there a question? No? Okay. Seeing that there are no questions online and hearing no discussion in the room, all in favor of the motion, please press 1 on your phone now. All opposed, please press 2.
Mr. Chairman, the votes are coming in here, and it looks like we've got 19 folks on the line who have pressed 1 for yes and 2 folks who have pressed 2 for no.
Okay. The motion carries. Now, Mr. Davenport, before we move on to other business, I'd like to make a presentation. For those listening tonight, Dale Davenport has admirably served you and your fellow members for almost 30 years as General Counsel. Tonight is his final SVEC annual meeting as he rides off, but not on a horse, into retirement at the end of the month. Dale's long tenure has provided valuable service to the cooperative, and we are grateful for his expertise. In 1976, he started by providing basic support when he arrived from law school at Hoover Penrod in Harrisonburg. Dale has been by our side through some of the toughest matters before the co-op. Dale, it is our honor to present this resolution to you, recognizing your service as General Counsel. To highlight a couple of sections, I'd like to read from the resolution. Whereas Dale was involved in groundbreaking milestone in the cooperative history, overseeing the 2010 acquisition of the portion of the former Potomac Edison territory and a transfer of the cooperative of its West Virginia territory acquisition, ensuring this exponential growth for SVEC arrived with seamless transition. And whereas Dale provided his wisdom, sound judgment towards restructuring the board to welcome new directors after this acquisition, guiding the cooperative through the rate revisions and advising staff on the disposition of former office buildings, among other significant achievements, and for the long-term benefit of the cooperative and its members. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative in the annual meeting assembled at Rockingham, Virginia, this 12th day of August, 2021, that it expressed to Dale its sincere thanks and appreciation for his able service to the cooperative during 29 years as General Counsel. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution, signed by the Chair of the Board with the corporate seal affixed thereto and attested by the Secretary, to be presented to Dale Davenport. Dale, thank you for your time, your expertise, and wish you a happy and long retirement. At this time, is there any other new business to come before the membership? Hearing none, I would like to turn it over to Morgan to answer questions from our members.
Great. Thank you so much again, Mr. Chairman. And as a last reminder, if you have any questions for SVEC board or staff at any time, you can just press 0. But at this point, if you have an item of new business or you have any general questions, feel free to go ahead and press that 0 button and someone will assist you. And so I do know that we've got one question in the queue already. So we're going to go to Bob, who has a question about Zoom for future meetings. Bob, would you like to go ahead?
I hope for future meetings, if they cannot be in person, that you will permit Zoom observation and attendance.
Bob, thanks a lot for your question there, and we do appreciate the feedback. I will let you know here at the cooperative, at the end of every annual meeting, we do review the annual meeting process, and we always are looking for ways to improve the process, and we evaluate all options as we head into the next year. We do have some legal and technical requirements for the meeting that we have to process through, and as the technologies improve, we'll be able to look at all of those and hopefully pick something that works well for everyone. So appreciate your feedback, and we will put that into the mix for review for the following year. Thank you, sir.
And as we wait here, thank you, Mr. Spiller, for your question there. And as we wait here to see if any other questions that come in, again, you can just press 0 at any time if you have a question or an item of new business. But I will give it just a moment and see if anybody else pops up. As Greg was talking about earlier, this format that we have set up is one that we feel like is pretty equitable across all the membership. You know, Greg said in his remarks that rural broadband divide is a true issue, and so we feel like in order to be equitable across our membership, being able to provide a telephone service is one way to make sure we can get as many members' participation as possible. Well, at this time, we don't have any other questions in the queue. So thanks to each of you all for calling in, and thank you for our one question. And at this point, I'll turn the floor over to our attorney, Mr. Davenport, to give us the election results.
Thank you. This evening, I can announce that the members of the co-op have elected Larry C. Howdyshell to the Augusta Highland seat. The vote was about 8% of members, which I think is really good, and all of those are members voting directly. The board proxies are not used to vote for directors at this cooperative. Dr. Helsman.
Thank you, Mr. Davenport, and congratulations, Mr. Howdyshell. We thank all of you for spending the evening with us, and now I ask for a motion to adjourn this annual membership meeting. I have a motion and a second that the meeting be adjourned. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please press 1 on your phone. Those opposed, press 2.
Mr. Chairman, the votes are coming in, and it looks like we've got 25 have voted for yes and 0 have voted for no.
Okay. Thank you again on behalf of the cooperative. I wish you and your family a safe and healthy rest of the year. This meeting is adjourned.